Welcome back to Booktalks Podcast. This is Kayla,
And Marissa.
and this week we read The Love Theoretically, or not the Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood. This, I feel like I wouldn't say it's like the third book in her series, but it is in the same world as her other books. So I don't really know how that works, but it's like her sciencey love stories. She definitely has a theme when she writes.
Yeah. I think I posted a video on TikTok and I was like, spoiler, it's about a girl in science trying to fall in love.
Plot twist. Um, you okay? I think these are on your maybe it was on Instagram. You said this was your favorite of the three, but it was before you finished.
Oh
So
gosh,
what do you
I'm just so upset about this because okay, if I'm being honest, I didn't tell you this, but I DNF'd Love on the Brain. I couldn't get through it. So I read The Love Hypothesis and then I got halfway through Love on the Brain, but it was so similar to The Love Hypothesis that I was like, I don't even have to finish it. It's the same book. Like, move on with my life. I always thought I was going to go back to it though and finish it, and I just never did. But Love Theoretically, first 75 pages, I was like, oh, this is fun. This is fresh. I love the premise because she's interviewed. So for those who don't know, like the little plot here, she's like a adjunct professor, doesn't make a lot of money. So she's got this side hustle where she is fake dating. And then she goes to interview for a tenured position, and it's the brother of one of the guys she was fake dating. So it's like I thought that was really unique and fun. So I loved it for those first 7,500 pages. It went downhill though from there.
I can see like um uh, uh, Elise or Elsie? Elsie. I always get because I the professor threw me up.
Yeah,
I could see some of you in Elsie.
I can too. I don't think I'm quite as dramatic as Elsie is about it, but like I'm a people pleaser. I have this problem where sometimes I don't know what I like myself because I do kind of just mold myself to whoever I'm with. If someone wants to go hiking, I go hiking. If someone wants to go eat, I go eat. Like whatever they want to do, I'm good with. Like I'm go with the flow. I don't necessarily have things I want to do because like I'm good to do whatever. I don't think I have it to the extent Elsie has it. I don't become like a different person. I'm just easy, whatever. But I do see myself in her, but not we're gonna get to the sex stuff eventually, but the sex stuff with her not knowing what she wanted made me really like icky. It gave me the ick with him being like, I'm not gonna do anything till you tell me what you want. So I mean, I just don't want people to attribute that with me because it's icky.
No, I attribute her inability to say no to people to you because you don't know how to say no to people.
I don't. That's why I'm burnt out at 27 years old.
Even like yeah, work things, life things, like you don't say no, and I feel like that's her. I feel like, yeah, the people pleasing and the saying no,
Yeah.
and just yeah, if someone asks you to be a certain person, you'll be that person. Like I think it took you like 6 months to be like, I like thrillers more than romance, Kayla.
Yeah, I no, even on Book Talk. So, Book Talk is like all about fantasy and romance. And every once in a while, I'll make a video like, I also like thrillers, and it gets no views. So I'm like, never mind, thrillers are trash. Fantasies are great. I'll just be whoever they need me to be.
No, I think it like took to like season 2 of the podcast to be like, no, we're reading thrillers. I need murder.
I love murder.
So actually, so going to murder in this book, do you like how she threatened how he would automatic or I've read who, but they would always automatically go to serial killer. Like she would always accuse him of like wanting to murder her. Like I
Yeah,
still
I mean, I get it. The way he said things was very ominous, I'm gonna take you out. Like take me out and murder me. I get it.
there's things I look really like about this book. And I guess we are kind of already spoiled it, but spoiler warning, we are going to talk about the book in depth. We're going to spoil things. So if you have not read it, read it, come back to us. We know it just came out, I think like yesterday, so you might have to listen to this episode late, but we're going to spoil it. Um, I love the Twilight talk.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because for those who have listened to Wild know this, but me and Marissa love our guilty pleasure of Twilight, and we understand how it is to be embarrassed to like Twilight, but I
Mhm.
still love it.
I my sister came to visit about 2 weeks ago, and we watched all 4 or 5, however many there are, Twilight movies. I guess there are 5 because they split Breaking Dawn into 2. They had like a Twilight marathon on, and anytime the kid was sleeping, we were like, "Get it back to that channel. Where's that channel? We gotta watch it." And her husband was just like, "These are stupid. It's so cringy," and we're like, "But that's what makes them good, you know?"
No, 100%. I like fully related to it. Thought it was hilarious. Even like the sex scenes to Twilight, I thought was like funny. Like, I don't know. Um, yeah, her associating him being a serial killer and like every banter they had, I thought I really liked. I really liked their banter and I really liked how he called her out on her shit.
Mhm.
Um,
And she
and
called
like
him out on his eventually, which I liked.
and I liked how I liked the whole fake dating twist and all that
Mhm.
stuff. I kind of thought that more of her fake dates would come up uh
Uh,
situations.
yeah.
Also the whole her ex JJ I thought would come back into play.
JJ was weird. It was one of those things where I felt like maybe we missed something in a different book. Like how the last book we were like, there were these random characters, and then we found out a whole book had been written about them. I was like, Ali Hazelwood gave us just enough information about JJ for me to like understand what was going on, but it wasn't fully realized. I felt like, especially like she teased it out at the beginning and then didn't even tell us the story till closer to the end. So we just kept hearing about JJ, and I was like, who the hell is JJ?
Well, I remember them being a bad like one of the guys in the first book that was like thought Olive was flirting with. And I thought maybe that was JJ, but I don't remember. I read that like literally like 2 Januaries ago.
Mhm.
So I don't remember. But yeah, I thought I understood it gave us a premise of why she is so how she kind of got into this tendency of faking it or being unsure if like guys actually wanted to be with her. Like I understood it gave us context to her relationship issues,
Uh-huh.
but I thought he'd come back into play at least. Um no,
Did
I like the book. My
you?
only complaint, and I think, and we talked about this, I don't know if it's just like me and I'm changing or like the book world's changing, but there's just some sex scenes that I didn't feel that was needed.
It just went on for forever. I read the first scene, and the chapters were long, so these weren't short quick sex scenes. I felt like they were very drawn out. And I read the first one, and then the next morning they wake up and they do it again, and I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. They do it again, and then they're like, let's do it a third time. Let's get in the shower now and do it a fourth time. Let's just keep doing it all freaking weekend. And I was like, it's like it's a little much. We gotta move this story along, guys.
I don't think the first book was like that. I feel like there's only one sex scene.
Mhm.
The second one I don't remember. I read that one pretty fast. Um, yeah, I think it's a mixture of me like just changing and just I think the book world is just going and being more open about sex in books.
Mhm.
Like even in like you used to know which books were sex books.
Mhm.
Now it's kind of like there's cartoon characters in the front. Like you don't like if my mom picked this up, she probably wouldn't think there'd be smut in it, but there was.
Yeah, very, very detailed. Um, Learned a thing or two. Just kidding.
I was thinking, I was like, do we, because I feel like it's a mutual thing we've decided, and I don't know when, because I feel like we used to like want a little bit more spice. We're like,
Yeah.
oh, we need more, and now I'm like, do we go back to YA?
It's just it's too much. It's too much. We got to go back a little. I think the problem with this one, at least, was that it was all condensed. Some books, there's like a sex scene towards the beginning, and then they go a long time pining for each other, and then there's a sex scene at the end, and maybe something in the middle. This was like nothing, 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 nothing. All the sex, nothing, nothing, nothing.
The thing is, I think this is a great book, and I don't think it needed it.
Yeah, I agree. And I said earlier that the book went downhill from there. I did like this book. I think my big issue, it wasn't the sex, it was that I felt like the premise of the book was solved at about 60% through. So, like, she's going for this tenured track. Is she going to get the job? Is this mysterious George going to get the job? And then, like, 60% of the way through, George gets the job. And then her and Jack talk about it, and she ends up being fine. Like, she realizes George is the better person. And then it just turns into her and Jack having a ton of sex, have one little fight, and it's over. And I was like, it was just kind of weird how quickly, like what I thought the whole premise of the book would be. I thought the big reveal at the end would be who got the job. And it happened 60% of the way through.
I did I was I did like the ending though with the whole her mentor and like that coming full circle and the whole letter that like Jack had wrote that ruined her whole industry, like that kind of came to light. So I did like that wrap up.
Yeah.
Um I liked it. I could see your point in saying the 60%, it kind of solved that plot point. But
Mm-hmm.
there was still, I think, some things unresolved. Also, I was on my like toes wondering if she was going to take that job or not because of her mentor.
Yeah. So I knew the mentor was bad. As soon as Jack brought up his mom, as soon as they talked about the mom, I knew. I was like, oh, okay. When he was like, oh, well, you know, my mom was a theoretical, whatever, physicist, a theoret. Is that what they are? Yeah, okay, whatever. I'm not a science person, clearly. But I was like, oh, okay, I think I can see where this is going. Like he was defending his mom. Um, but I'm glad it came out that way because quite frankly, for the first half, 60% of the book, I was like, okay, he really was just a jerk. And like there's no good explanation for why he did that.
I don't think I fully understood the article that he wrote. Just because I don't know science, I feel like, but I don't really understand like how he made this whole industry, like this whole side of science a joke because he was like 17. Like, how did he even have the knowledge to do this? Like, it didn't make sense to me. Um, like I still don't think I fully understand that part, but I just kind of took her word for it that it was bad. But yeah, I did once he mentioned that someone ruined his mom's career, I was like, oh, it's totally her mentor.
Yeah.
But I did like how it came out. I like how it came full circle and stuff like that. The one thing I got annoyed at her for is getting mad at him for lying when she's lied forever.
I know. So the thing is, it's good to stand up for yourself and know what you want, but to do it to the point of like selfishness, I felt like towards the end she was like, "Well, I'm just going to do whatever I want because Jack gave me permission and I'm going to be angry because I'm allowed to be angry." And I was like, "Girl, you have been lying for the past like 30 years of your life." Like he at least had a good reason, you know?
My favorite part was whenever she kind of just like F it and just started like speaking all of her truths, like with no filter. Like, I hate that. I hate this. I hate that. Like, you could all screw it because I hate everything.
Yeah, the way she snapped at her mom, I was like, "Ooh, okay, you're really going there."
Which I needed. Her mom was a bitch, but
Oh my gosh, I know. I was like, why is it the older sister's job? Or I guess she was the younger sister. I think she said her brothers were older than her. I'm like, they sound like they're 16-year-old boys fighting over a high school girl.
yeah.
That's weird.
I do think that she set up her roommate, like the roommate, to like fall in love.
I think so too. I think we're gonna get a CC book.
I was like, because there's another book coming out. It's like Checkmate, but it's YA. So I don't think it's that book. But yeah,
Oh,
Ali Hazelwood is writing a YA book, which I think might be up our alley more so.
we might like that one the best.
Are we regressing back?
We had our fun in our 20s and now we're going back to safety.
Oh gosh.
Oh, I did like Cece. She's very quirky, very fun, and I want to find out what happens with her and Kirk because it sounds like he's really wealthy and could really take care of her.
And he's a science guy. So we all know she likes her science guys. But Cece wasn't a science person. So that would be a first non-science gal story
Yeah.
plot. So it'd be an interesting twist. Because we can see that Ali can write a really good science female, like heroine.
Heroin. Not the
When
drug,
I
the woman.
say heroine, I always think I'm like, am I saying this wrong?
I same. Yeah.
So I always think I'm like, okay, we're accountants. Can I write an accounting love story? And I'm like, accounting's just boring. And I was like, honestly, to an outsider, though, science is boring too, but she does it in such a way that I am like intrigued by this industry. And I'm like, it's exciting, it's fresh, it's fun. Whereas, like, if I try to write an accounting love story, it would just be like a bunch of people on computers just typing away, which is essentially what scientists do too. Like, how does she make it so much fun?
I don't know. I kind of want to know, like, if a scientist reads her book, if the stuff she says is all accurate or if she's bending any of it for the world of fiction. Because obviously she is in the science world. So everything she says, I just assume is 100% true. Um, but I wonder, so like, do we need to bend the truth on accounting and sex it up and make it sound more exciting?
If I could do that to taxes, like
Ooh, taxes. Drop debits and credits to me.
I think she actually is a professor in science, which always makes me want to become a professor because maybe I'll have time to write. But
Except, what do her students think about her when they walk in the classroom and they go, Allie, we just read 5 chapters of detailed sex scenes. Now teach us science, please.
well, I remember thinking that, but her first book really didn't have a lot of sex in it. So I'm like, okay, well, it's not that bad. We're all adults here. But yeah, no, this was very detailed.
Very, very detailed. Yeah.
I don't know if she still teaches now that her books are such a success. But I remember when I read the first book and I listened to an interview that she did, she was still teaching. So yeah, no, I do, yeah, I think she is very talented with writing from coming from a science background.
Mhm.
I just don't know if I can pull off accounting the way she does science.
I know, I know. Yeah, I'm just not sure there's a way to sex up accounting.
I also just love the world of academia. I've always like I don't know, I've always wanted to be not always, but recently I wanted to be a professor. I love books that take place in college, like Discovery Witches is one of my favorite fantasy novels, and it's pretty much a professor is the main character. So I love books that take place in college settings. So I think I like that situation. But which her last book was not taking place in college, but the first one was. But no, I was a fan of this book. I give it a 4.
I gave it a 4 on Goodreads. I like maybe would knock off a couple points just because it's not for me. Some parts were not for me, but the thing is, we're going to be totally in the minority on it because one of the things we don't like about it is what's going to make it so popular because Book Talk wants the spice and the smut. So the very thing I'm dogging it for is actually like a positive for other people.
Book Talk loves the smut. Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh, they're all sex crazed.
Oh, we've got to give a shout out to Berkley. Thank you for sending us both a copy for this honest review. As you see, we're being very honest with our opinions of this book. Um, okay, so we talked about our girl Elsie and what we thought about her and how she kind of reminded me of you. But let's talk about the other characters. So we have Jack, we have George, the infamous, mysterious George. We have Cece, which we talked about. We both like Cece. We pray and hope for a spinoff. Um, what's his brother's name again? Why am I blanking on his name?
Greg. Greg.
Why are the names so similar? Why is Greg and George so similar? Why is
They're so basic.
like so many different boy names to choose from that are not George? I like the whole George thing because it sounded like, oh, some guy, like some bro, and it was like, oh no, this George is like this incredible woman scientist. So yeah, leave the George thing. Pick something else. Pick Tom. I just want my laundry right behind us.
Okay. Nice.
It's clean, I swear. Yeah, my one complaint is the name. Anything else?
Yeah. I didn't like Yeah, I didn't like that they called the girl George. I mean, like it was supposed to throw us off, but her first of all, her name's Georgina. But I was thinking, I bet she goes by George so that people think she's a male so that she's not discriminated against in the field of science.
Yeah, I didn't mind her being called George. I just was annoyed with Greg's name. Pick a different boy name. You have like
Okay.
20 zillion options. Literally
Right.
anything. Craig. Craig would have been better. With a C. Craig.
I liked Greg.
I
He
like
was
Greg
cute.
as a character.
Yeah.
No, I like Greg. I like that whole twist. I was wondering, I wish she had just talked about it more of how she basically went from like family parties from dating one brother to the other brother. Like my family would like cut you out so quick.
I loved how they were like, no one mentioned that she was at their house, and no one mentioned that she used to date the one brother and now is dating the other. I was thinking, there's no way, like Greg's mom would not have said something to her. There's just no way. I would have said something to her.
They painted her, their mother or like Greg's mother to be this monster. Wouldn't
I
she
know.
like hate her?
Yeah. I yeah, I didn't really get the relationship because yeah, she's painted as this monster who didn't accept Jack as her own child, and yet Jack stays part of the family. Why? Like, why not just stay close with Grandma and Greg? But like, why are you going to family dinners? That family hates you.
I wouldn't put myself through that torture. I don't know.
No.
Yeah. I feel like Jack's a glutton for punishment.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Oh.
I cleared my.
No, Jack I liked Jack, but I just wish he would have explained things earlier. Like I always say this, but so much of the problems in romances could be solved if they would just communicate. Like Jack, just tell her why she's not going to get the job and why you don't hate their theoretical physicists. Like it wasn't that big of a deal. I get that the bad guy, the mentor, was her mentor, but like if he really did what you say he did, he should not be in her life, period.
He took a long time to talk about his mom.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I did get his point that we don't know if she would believe him unless like got to know each other more, but she still didn't really believe him at first.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like that's always an issue, especially with Ali Hazelwood's books. She loves the miscommunication trope.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And this one was not as bad as the other ones, but yeah, the miscommunication trope is the worst. I do love when a guy falls first. It's one of my favorites because I don't know why, I just love it. Uh,
Yeah.
I couldn't explain it. I probably need a therapist to explain why I love that more. So I do like that trope, but he's kind of obsessed with her for years.
Mhm.
Um, I hated how she would always just question his like sincerity.
Yeah, but I get it, especially after they explained the stuff with JJ. I mean, she thought I know she knew going into the JJ thing that it was fake. But if a guy started taking me out and like we were sleeping together every day, I was basically living with him and he introduced me to his family, I would have no reason to believe it's fake at that point. So I get where her distrust comes from and the fact that like Jack would be interested in her after the article he wrote and the fact that she was lying about dating his brother. I get her distrust of that.
Yeah, I get it. It was just also annoying. I was like, yeah, he freaking likes you. Like, come on, let's move on.
Okay, well, there is one really icky thing about Jack, and I think this is why I'm not full on team Jack. Um, the really icky thing that I do not like about Jack is that he had a picture of her in his bedside table. And I thought that was super creepy.
I totally
Knowing that
forgot about
he would, yeah, like just thinking about him taking that picture out and then proceeding with activities. I just
that. Marissa, your mind goes such dirty places.
no, he said that he would get off to her. He literally said that to her. So I just, when she found that picture, I was like, oh, Jack, that's so gross.
Like,
But
no one that gives me what's that book that I absolutely hate that everyone loves?
which one?
The one that's like the biggest like rom-com and became a movie with Lucy Hale in it.
Oh, The Hating Game.
Yes, that gives me hating games, painting his room the color of her eyes vibe.
Yeah. I'm like, she's dating your brother, and you don't know that it's fake dating, and you get a picture of her at a party, and then you like think about her all the time. Like, dude, she's dating your brother, even though
Yeah,
she's not.
yeah.
It creeped me out. So someone on TikTok, I made a video and they said, "Oh, Jack's their favorite of all the Ali Hazelwood men. Like they like Jack even better than Adam." And I do like Jack, but that one thing, I guess it's just something I have a problem with. Like, don't take pictures of me and put them in your bedside table. I'm not okay with that. Please.
I mean, if they were dating and he had a
Yeah.
picture, totally okay. Yeah, the fact that they were kind of strangers, virtual strangers, he didn't actually even know really her at all. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's kind of weird. I still think I like Adam the most.
I like Adam the best too.
I don't know. He was
I
just
mean,
so.
I didn't really finish Love on the Brain, so I'm basically just comparing Adam and Jack, but I like Adam the
I
best.
actually forget the two main characters of All in the Brain. I read it in like 2 days, and when I do that, I struggle remembering characters.
Did you like how Adam and Olive made a reappearance?
I did. And actually, so George mentioned the other girl from Love on the Brain.
Oh, okay.
She's
I
like, oh,
didn't
my
catch
friend's coming up for something. We can talk about your ideas that later. He was like,
that.
that was his friend coming up from Texas. So,
Okay.
yeah, I feel like it's all in the same universe, stuff like that, but I did like that.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't catch that one, but I loved the Olive and Adam reappearance, and I just forgot how freaking awkward and nerdy Adam is. It's just so awkward.
Did you read the novellas that she wrote?
No.
Okay. She wrote three just sciencey romance novellas. They're really quick reads, like 90 pages. I was doing it when I was trying to get my 100 book count last year, and I was like, I'm gonna just read these books real quick. But they're really good. Like they're really cute. I think one was like Olive's friend, or two of them might have been Olive's friends, but they're all just like STEM girls. I really like them. Now I'm wondering if those characters reappear in this book. Again, I read those really fast, and I feel like I'm really bad at remembering old characters. I don't know why Adam and Olive stand out so much to me. I think that's just actually the true testament of how good that book was, because
Mhm.
I think I will never forget those characters, opposed to
Yeah.
other romance books I've long forgotten.
Yeah, I really liked Adam and Olive. I liked the love hypothesis the best of the books of her books that I've read and finished.
You have the
And
first two books from the book of the month version. 'Cause remember we swapped. I
uh-huh.
have them all in paperback now.
Yep.
For the books we got sent, are you keeping the hardback or the paperback? Or both?
That's what sucks is I kind of want to keep the paperback because it looks so cute because most of my romances are paperbacks, but the hardcover would go better with the book of the months.
It's so beautiful. Like it's really beautiful, the hardback. I actually didn't see the hardback in stores at all.
Oh. Did they get
Um,
something else? Probably not.
I don't know, but I love my paperback. I've already put it on my bookshelf, so I don't know what to do with my hardback. I gotta take photos with it still. But it was so nice for them to send us both copies. This was like I feel like one of our biggest books we ever got sent.
And they sent it without like they were just like down to send us both two copies. They're just like, we'll get those mailed out right away.
No,
I was
it was so nice of them.
It was so nice.
We've gotten a lot of good books this year. I'm excited for the rest of the season. I'm a little nervous about reading my first thriller in a while. It's been a very long time. I tried to buy it at the store today, and I could not find Riley Sager anywhere, like on the
Okay.
shelves. But
We
then I
have
realized the book doesn't come out until the 20th.
it.
I looked hard.
Okay, well, they did end up sending me the copy. I did get it. So I can send you pictures of it. It's a very nice book. I'm a little nervous about it too, actually, because I really like Riley Sager's earlier books, but his later books have started morphing into more paranormal, and they're not like paranormal ghost scary. They're just more unexplained. Like, thrillers are still based in reality. Like, there is a murderer and there is a dead body. Some of Riley Sager's later ones have been like, I guess we'll never know if that woman drowned in the lake or if she's still haunting the woods. Like like, they're a little more creepy. I'm kind of nervous.
Even with this book, I was so nervous she wasn't going to accept this job because of her stupid mentor that I like put the book down. I was like, I can't look at it right now. Like I was just so anxious for her.
I think it's kind of childish that she felt like she needed his approval. Like, you clearly want the job. Who cares? Like, if he says you shouldn't take it, it's still your career and your life. Take the job.
I think it's just a people pleaser in her.
Yeah, but she literally needed insulin to live. Like,
Yeah. Okay. I guess so. Our final ratings. I give this book like a 4.2.
I gave it a 3.8 on Goodreads.
Okay. I didn't know Goodreads does 0.8s now.
Well, I gave it a 4 on Goodreads, but in my caption, I wrote 3.8, which I mean, it feels low because I do like the book and I do think it's a good romance. And I read through it pretty quick. I mean, it took me forever to read it because I didn't have time. But when I read it, I read like 75 pages at a time. Like, I couldn't put it down. It was so easy to keep turning the pages. So I feel like 3.8 in some ways is too low. It's just, I loved Love Hypothesis so much more that I feel like it's a discredit to Love Hypothesis if I score this one higher. It's so stupid.
I agree because it is a really good romance book. I remember even when I had like 80 pages left this afternoon and I breezed through them in like an hour. Like I don't know. I never read that fast in a while. Like I've been struggling to read as fast as I used to and really quick read, really good. I like the characters a lot. But yeah, it just doesn't live up to Love Hypothesis. But that
Yeah,
book was just iconic. And that
I
was her
know.
first book. It was really incredible.
And the name Olive is a great character name. Whereas in this, we got Greg, George, Jack,
Elsie
and
was good.
Elsie was good, but I also was confused and would sometimes go, is she Elsie or Elise?
I would also. Well, and another thing that pissed me off about the mentor thing, which is actually something you would 100% do, is not correct him about her name. You would do that in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I mean, I let one of my bosses call me Marisha for the longest time, or Marsha sometimes, because he just didn't know my name was Marissa. And I was just like, whatever, he's old, it's fine.
This is like her mentor. I was like, you have to correct him.
Yeah, she did eventually.
I wanted her correction to be like more like, oh, by the way, my name's actually Elsie. Like goodbye, and like walk out. But she kind of didn't. She's like, you can call me. Like she kind of did it politely, and I wanted more of a sass response.
Yeah. No, she saved all her sass for her mom.
Ripped her mom a new one.
No, it was good though. I'm very grateful for the copy, and it is a good romance. Like, I do recommend it. And if you like sex scenes, then you'll love it even more than I did. Like, my low rating will be like, you can add 8 points to my rating, So I highly recommend. I feel bad because I've kind of not like made fun of Ali Hazelwood before, but been like, she's got the big boy trope. All her boys are really big and like, I don't really like that trope. And so I've said things about her books before, but they are good romances. Um, I just personally don't want a man 10 times my size trying to do the things to me that the men in these books do to those women.
She does love her like 6 feet like tall men. Like
All men.
no short men allowed.
No short men, which, she could get canceled for someday.
I don't know. We can. I think the short white men will be fine.
It'll be fine. So they've got to be tall, they've got to be in science, and that's pretty much her only requirement.
I think that's only her requirements. No, big fan. I really enjoyed it. yeah, definitely would recommend to others. We'll be lending out this book. So thank you for listening. This is Kayla.
And Marissa.
Have a good night. And make sure to follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Booktalks Podcast.